I've been waiting to get into this meeting for like 6 weeks,
Oh,
and I keep
wow.
missing. It's in California, so I keep missing the time.
Gotcha. Well, awesome. Glad to have you on. It is Friday. For those who are joining live on YouTube and Facebook, it's Friday, and that means that we are doing office hours. We've got our team on here. Eric is at the airport, so he may not be able to be on for very long, and his plane's about to take off. And then we've got
Hey guys, how's it going?
Mariel on the team as well. Wave Mariel so they know.
Hey.
Great to have you all on here. And Sophie, thank you for joining after waiting for 6
6 weeks of
weeks.
trying.
Yeah, awesome. How did you find out about office hours?
Well, I subscribed to you guys after I think I sent in some deals over to your company, and Eric was nice enough to show me how to put it up through
Okay,
email. We met through email,
awesome.
and so then I guess somehow I got on the subscription. I'm very happy.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
and so I have a bunch of questions and some deals that I wanted to discuss.
Sure, for sure. Yeah. So today we're going to run it very much like Q&A again. Once in a while we will run office hours where we'll give a little bit of an like specific education that we want to share. Mariel and I do the underwriting with our company. So this is a great opportunity to talk about underwriting questions as well, since we got both of us on here. But yeah, I'll open it up. So if you've got something you want to talk about, go for it, Sophie.
So, no, Mario actually helped me a lot because right now I'm just trying to get to know how you guys operate so I can bring the right deal.
Sure.
And we had some, submittals and had some denials, and that's
Sure.
all trying. There's the growing pains, right?
Sure.
And so I wanted to get a little bit. I don't want to waste her time, and I certainly don't want to waste the borrower's time nor mine. So I wanted to kind of get a guideline of what you guys are looking for. And I think it was Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, and one more, right?
West Virginia. Yep.
West Virginia.
Yeah,
That
you
was
got it.
Yeah, and then I think it was one of the emails that I sent in. Of course, 2 out of I think 5 submissions was because you guys don't lend in those states. Are you going to open more into other areas, or?
So maybe someday, but not right now. Every state has its own unique risks. So there are, I mean, different usury laws. There are different legal parameters for, your foreclosure. You name it. There's multiple different kinds of regulations you can bump into with each individual state, and each one of those states integrating into those states and figuring out how you operate within those states, make sure that you abide by the laws, and make sure you have an attorney in each state that can advise you. That's just an additional cost. It's an additional challenge for finding borrowers in that state. Smaller is better, actually, especially as we're getting started. So and really our mentors continue to pound that into our heads as well, that their message to us is actually probably that we should be smaller than we even are trying to be today. We're more focused on a local market. We're more focused and more present in that local market, because it is challenging to scale up, and we've found that to be the case, that it can be very hard to drum up business in so many different locations all at once. You can't be everywhere all at once. You can't be everything to everybody. And so there's a strength in scaling where you have the strongest connections first, and then kind of building from there. So
Okay.
I would never say that it's off the docket to expand to other states at all, but it's not in the roadmap for right now.
And I guess I had a question is on how do you pick the properties that you like to fund in, and so that we only funnel those to you.
Sure. So the properties that we fund are single family homes up to 4 units. So once it gets beyond 4 units, it starts getting into multifamily territory, which is a little bit different kind of procedure for underwriting, and then figuring out also, what your exits can look like. So we don't get into that. It's just 1 to 4 units. And our typical avatar for a borrower is going to be somebody who's doing a fix and flip or a BRRRR. And We are actually, this is news to some folks. We've added a product that we're going to focus on more, and it is much more traditional funding model that you'll see from a lot of hard money lenders or private money lenders who are operating at scale. It's a monthly payment structure. So historically, we've made it kind of our claim on, no down payment, no points, no fees, no monthly payments, blah blah blah. So it's very like low bar to entry. The problem with that is what we found is, while there are some great borrowers who we've gotten a chance to connect with, who like that product and have found value in it, it tends to draw, I hate to say it, but the lowest common denominator of borrower. So uh, there is no bar to entry. So it's very like low threshold. And so when you see no points, no down payment, no monthly payments, um, just the people that we have attracted into that have not been the most reliable. Most of them, we end up having a very high failure rate for them closing, either on their end or even just on our end, because the underwriting doesn't make sense. Oftentimes it's the ARV that is just astronomically off. We had a deal come into us just a couple weeks ago that the ARV was presented to us as 2.2 million, and the best case scenario from our team and another second opinion from a seasoned lender in that area, knows that neighborhood, been lending there for 20 years, best case scenario was 1.6. That is the best case, not 2.2 million. So she was off by hundreds of
Oh,
thousands.
that much.
Yeah. So, and that's not to say anything negative about that person or her as an individual. I just don't think she had a strong command of comping, and therefore I think it's kind of jumping into like the whole fix and flip game very premature. She needs to hunker down with a partner and have somebody keep her grounded in reality for what those ARVs are going to look like.
Would you say that the way that one of the biggest factors of you approving the potential submittals would be a high ARB with a low LTC, and that's where the 100% comes in?
No, so we're not even advertising the 100% product anymore, just because of the problem that we've run into. We've got some existing borrowers who can still tap into that. And at the end of the day, if somebody is very, very interested in it, they meet that threshold, we might do it. But right now, we're not going to advertise it, and we're actually going to change our website. So now what we are offering is a bit of a bar, a threshold to get into our loans. So you have to put a down payment down. The minimum down payment right now is 20,000. There might be some very low purchase prices. Like sometimes we run into properties in West Virginia where 20,000 may be a little bit ridiculous, but we'll handle that on a case by case basis. Right now, minimum threshold is $20,000 down. We're charging points. Points start at two points. Our rates start at 12% annualized. And then we have a couple of basic, fairly traditional closing fees. So we've got an underwriting fee and an application fee that gets charged at closing.
What about the credit guideline?
Credit is to do the annualized product credit minimum is 620.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if the borrower is very, very seasoned and he has the minimum down payment, but his credit is short, and let's say 600, would you still look at that deal?
I probably not.
So 620 is like, there's no exemption.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, maybe if it's truly only a fix and flip exit and there's no refi component at all, maybe. We're private money, so we could maybe flex on that, but we right
No,
now
I can work with those parameters. So I have a borrower now with a 740 credit score,
Mhm.
and he's got a very low down payment, and I believe the purchase price is 500.
Mhm.
And so it's in Georgia, so I would bring it to you. And I guess it depends. Even if it's 40,000, it's still very low down payment. But 20,000, he's going to be ecstatic. So I'll submit that over.
Now that's the
Yeah.
minimum.
Sophia, just one thing to. Oh, sorry, Justin. I was just going to say before I can hop off here, just so we're communicating clearly, 20,000 is the minimum down payment. That doesn't mean that it's the down payment for every deal.
Right.
Okay.
It's usually going to be an absolute minimum of 10%. Like on a if it's a $500,000 purchase price, and that would usually be an absolute minimum of 50K towards that 500K purchase price. It
Well,
might be different depending on the deal, but you got to have enough for some monthly payments and closing costs and more beyond that. So if it's a 500K purchase price, it should be a little bit more than 50K in liquidity at least.
yeah.
Well, I think he's got it. I guess my question is it 50,000 including the closing fees, or 50,000 above it and then add the closing fees and
So think of it as there's a down payment and then there's closing fees.
No, so 50,000 covers down payment and closing fees.
No. 50,000 is by itself, and then there's closing fees as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then just to add on to Eric's point, because he mentioned the purchase price, I did want to make sure that we're clear on this one, because it's actually the LTC is referring to the purchase and the construction.
Okay.
So when you kind of take the whole into consideration, it's how much is this property going to cost me to buy it? How much is it going to cost me to rehab it? And LTC is the loan to that cost. And we will go at a max of 90%. So that's where the 10% came in that Eric was talking about. It's actually 10% considering the purchase.
Right. So it's 10% of LTC.
Correct.
Not 10% of acquisition.
Yep. So if you kind of think of it this way, there's a few different caveats. There's a few sort of parameters that have to be hit in order to make this product work. There's the first threshold is LTARV, which is loan to after repair value. The absolute max that we could go to would be 70% LTARV. But there's another layer that has to be met first, and that is LTC. So we got to look at how much is the property going to cost to purchase and rehab. The max threshold that we can go on the LTC is 90%. And the minimum down payment is 20,000. So there's a few different layers there that we would look at.
I think I got it. Yeah. I think I know how to navigate. Yeah.
To make sure. So you could end up with a scenario where a property, maybe the 90% LTC actually makes the overall loan less than 70% by quite a bit. It could be 60%, could be 64, right? But because we have to comply with the LTC requirement, then it's going to go down. So
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. And then a good credit, 680 in Georgia, but the company had a foreclosure activity within the last 12 months, I think 10 months ago.
Mhm.
Is that something that you would look at, or you would just cancel all the way?
And if it still shows up on their record, then yeah, that'd be a problem. Yeah, we don't generally want like major financial upheaval as a part of their record. So on our credit and background, we specifically look for things like bankruptcy, active collections, active delinquencies. If any of those are sitting on their record right now, and bankruptcy does not have to be active, it's past. Like if you have it in your record, I don't want to do a deal with you. If you've got collections and delinquencies that are active and they have been unresolved, then I don't want to do a deal with them either. If they've got a collection that's in the past and a delinquency that's in the past that they have made up, it's all been resolved with their creditors and they've made good on their loans, then we can work with them. It just depends on how hard that hit their credit score, which is this is a huge adjustment for what we previously allowed.
I can see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Yeah. Great question. Anything else?
I think that's all I got for now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'll submit the Georgia deal.
Sure.
The 10%. Later
Definitely take a look at it.
Yeah. Because he does have 10 to 15% down.
Okay.
And it's take it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna
Other
sign.
thing to consider too is, the rehab budget. We always, they have to have a little bit of liquidity left over after down payment to be able to front.
I think it was 15 grand or something that you wanted to see in liquidity. Is that
Yeah,
still?
that's also been updated. If it's the annualized product, and that is what we're advertising, obviously the minimum threshold is 20,000, right? Because the minimum down payment is now 20K. Plus, they need to be able to float whatever they need for the rehab and monthly payments. Yep.
And in the rehab budget, do you do a draw system or it's just photos?
Correct. Yep.
I mean, is it draw system with photos or with inspector?
It's with an inspector. I'd like to move to potentially a photo an app based option, but right now it is inspector.
It generally takes what, 3-4 days?
Actually, if you schedule with your inspector, if you know that, let's say you're wrapping up your project and it's going to be done by Friday, just call your inspector and say, I'd like an inspection on Friday. And then they can go ahead and request the draw at that point and let us know, hey, on Friday, you should be receiving the draw, the inspection report. We'll get things queued up so that once that inspection report comes in, it's a same day draw.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't do a ton of disputing unless there's like sort of an obvious, like, they put the budget down. Like, I did all this work on the kitchen and it's like the inspector didn't show anything in the kitchen. Then it's like, okay, I don't see evidence of that.
Okay. I got it. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and generally we don't require any kind of receipts or anything like that as well. The only time that I would maybe request that is sometimes I've had borrowers where they want to order all of their supplies, and that's kind of like their first draw is like, I ordered the supplies, now I'm out of money, so I need a draw, but I can't have an inspector go there and be like, oh,
Right, because it's orders.
yeah, here's the receipt. Like, no, just send me your receipts, and then if you want, you can even show a picture of the product that's been delivered to your house or whatever, or to the property. I mean, but
that's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know.
An invoice.
Some of the lenders, would like to see the product on site before they release.
I would prefer to see it on site.
Yeah. But you would work with the receipt if they ordered it all.
I can work with a receipt, but I'd prefer to see it on site for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I think that's it for me.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Great to have you on.
Thank you.
All right. Little update from us. I know some of you have been kind of following our journey because we've got a development that we're working on. We've become developers up in Minnesota. So we have a property up in Minnesota that is just gone through the final stages of approval. So we are officially approved developers. So I can show you a little picture here of this property. Before we kind of
You're in Minnesota?
We're not in it, but we this one was an interesting project in that we got asked for a loan, and we were a little hesitant to do a loan. The requested reason for the loan just seemed like, I don't know, it seemed like maybe like a just kind of not well managed business or something. But then he was like, well, I got collateral and I can offer this collateral for you. And we're like, oh, okay, well, I don't know if we still want to do it as a loan, but we'll buy the property from you.
Are you able to say who you're working with?
What's that?
Are you able to say who you're working with?
I'll probably hold off on that because for a variety of reasons, but yeah.
Okay, I just live in Minnesota.
Yeah. Are you talking about like who we're working with right now as like realtors or whatever?
No, like who you were working with so that I don't go near someone.
Oh, I don't think.
Good idea.
I have a feeling you probably. I don't even know where that guy is at anymore. He's
okay.
Our concerns were true. He was getting himself into some business trouble for sure. So this is the property that we have. Let's see if I can find you the aerial photos here.
I know.
FYI, that's not the only one in Minnesota you need to be aware of. Just enter into Minnesota very tiptoe.
I hear you. So this is the property. It's out on this beautiful lake. There's a road actually that goes right along the lake, so you can't even really build up properties there. So it'll be unless they change the road, it'd be a long time before this lake gets super built up. So we're gonna have about 4 lots right along the lake. And then the property line goes out. There's actually like a little offshoot of property right here, and then it goes all the way out here and out to the road. So it's 63.5 acres. And we're going to keep the rural flavor of it. So most of these lots, there you go. You can kind of see like this is our property over here, comes all the way out to this point here. This is going to get developed into 4 lots right here along the lake, and then an additional 4 lots on the north side that'll just connect right up with the main road. So they'll be very rural lots, in keeping with the current, kind of feel of the area.
Is that northern Minnesota?
It's actually just south of Minneapolis, so we are.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's a few miles away from me.
Okay.
I know Prior Lake very well.
Nice. Yeah. So anyway, that's what just got approved this week. So that was exciting news for us. Something to share.
Prior Lake is an up and coming part of the far south of Minneapolis, St. Paul metro.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Very interesting area. Definitely was. It took a lot of work to get through the approvals there. The lots and lots and lots of requirements there with conservation and all of that. But it was a lot of hoops, but we got through it and met all of their requirements. So we're excited about that. We're good to start marketing the properties now. And right now we were just listing kind of the whole thing in case somebody wanted the whole property. But now we get to list all the different acreage.
Are you going to build out the lots, or are you just going to subdivide it into lots of lots?
Yeah, we're just going to sell the lots. Yep. We've got the plans and everything. So there's like already spots for where the houses can go and where the, the septic systems can go. And all that. Everything's already been planned. Yep. Everything's planned. They just need to buy it and build it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, so I do a lot of mostly land investing, and I get deals sent to me from around the country. And I think real estate investors are surprised how much it costs to build a road.
Yeah.
They have no concept of
super
what it costs just to build a road.
Yep. Yeah, we originally were planning on doing that. We actually, the very first iteration we did was like 2 acre lots. So it was more of a traditional development, like, an acre to 2 acre lot and multiple houses. I think it was like 19 lots. And we got the road estimate and we're like, no, like that pretty much kills the profitability. And it really was a question mark. Like even the first version, we were kind of like, this is more of a rural area, and 2.5 acres doesn't feel as rural as the rest of the area. So I feel like it just doesn't keep the area looking like it once did.
Yeah.
So we wanted to keep it mostly like what the rest of the properties in the area looked like.
Like hunting areas, because that's hunting ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I most of the lots will still be about 10 acres. So I don't know what the minimum is for hunting, but I would assume you could still probably hunt there. And if you get to be good friends with your neighbors, you'll be good. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm going to open it up. Anybody else have any questions or something that they want to share?
The only thing I'll share is, I don't know if anybody's paying attention. I'm looking at the charts right now. The 10-year dropped pretty significantly today. So that should be good news for real estate investors.
Sorry, what was that drop?
The 10-year dropped. The 10-year treasury dropped significantly today, down to 4.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at the chart right now. It gapped down to 4 on the jobs report.
Okay. Very cool.
Well, we'll see, right? If there's follow through in rates.
Yeah. Yep. I think yesterday, I just saw an announcement that they did drop a little bit.
Yeah, if they dropped yesterday, we should see a pretty significant drop on it today. I mean, today was a big trading candle down to 4. I think the last time we were down this low was, April 7th.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. It went down to 6.5 yesterday.
Oh, you're looking at mortgage rates? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the yield on the 10-year treasury.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, it could get interesting, especially if they drop any more. I mean, I think unfortunate for the end buyer, but the reality is that I think housing prices might actually go up a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, everything's kind of the connection. It's the follow through. So, right, if we do see short end of the yield curve drop, which lowers borrowing rates for developers and everything like that, makes the money cheaper. I mean, everything happened. Everything's connected.
Yep.
So we'll see. But I mean, on the inventory thing, I don't know. I think you probably saw Lennar just launched a platform for real estate investors where they're selling their vacant properties all around the properties that they can't get people into. So Lennar created an investor platform.
Mm-hmm.
And what I thought was interesting about that platform is for the investor platform, they actually put the information in, what are rents in that area. So the information they provide about the property is germane to what an investor would need to look at.
Yeah, makes sense.
Plus, they're offering 4%.
Yeah. Cool. Well, awesome. Anybody have any underwriting questions or yeah, let's open it up for that. Anybody have any questions around underwriting and just like staying safe in a loan? We've got Mariel on the line here, and she works with me directly with underwriting. And so if you got like single family properties and you're trying to figure out what the heck is this thing worth, love to provide some pointers on that.
Well, I will comment, Justin, that I completely concur with the parameters that you set up. For about a year, I was being pursued. I got some calls just the other day of some of Pace Morby's people, and I said, "No, you're all cut off.
Yep.
I'm not letting they near you."
Yeah.
No.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, from a really good borrower standpoint, or even like, you look at like Pace Morby. I mean, obviously he's been reliable with his process, but he knows how to get into properties with basically no money down. It's a phenomenal thing for the reliable person. It's not a good thing for the lender. It never has, and it never will be a good thing for the lender. So any borrower looking for coming into a property in the same premise as Pace Morby, they have to be exceptionally good people, because your chances of getting your money back rely entirely on their character.
Well, I was also experiencing that deals get passed around a lot and people are inserting themselves into the deals. And I got to a point and said, "Who the hell am I lending to?"
Yeah.
And I just said, "No,
Yep.
no more. Don't call me anymore."
Yep. Yeah. We just had a deal, $2.5 million deal. Guy represented himself as the guarantor of the loan. Then we get the operating agreement, and he's not on the operating agreement.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry, who is borrowing from me? I'm not talking to the borrower, apparently. So it's okay to represent yourself as a connector broker. If you want to tell me that you are not the guarantor and you are the connector broker, that's great. That we've set up a clear delineation. You are doing this role, they are over here doing their role. But when you come into the system, you're like, I'm the guarantor. And then I have to ask you, well, where's your operating agreement? And it doesn't have you on it. That is not cool. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Reputation follows people in this business.
Yeah. Yep.
Are you finding that, from what I'm hearing, and what I thought I was hearing before you guys were even talking, is that there's a lot less people lending money. And for sure, like not much lending in second position anymore.
Well, I think there are definitely people lending in second position. And the reason I know that is because I'm part of a community where I see where all the people that are lending in second position are losing money in second position and not getting paid back. So there's a small Facebook group that's primarily about just like sharing. I think it's risky, but they're sharing the names of people that haven't paid them back.
Oh yeah, I'm in that group too. I don't actually go to it, but
yeah, I don't really like the group because it's very hard to enjoy being, seeing it, because I see people that, are just trying to do an investment journey and they're losing money. And, and I have to believe that even maybe some of those borrowers were just misled too, where they're like, oh, I can do this thing and it'll work. And now they're in over their head. Like what shot do you truly have of paying this person back? Your property's upside down. So good luck. Now it comes down to like whether or not you're willing to go and make good on a personal guarantee as a person with integrity. Like, are you gonna like your best shot at paying them off is to pay them off over the next 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, whatever, you get what I'm saying. Many years to come. A good friend of mine did his final second position deal. Second position as a gap lending, basically, which to me, gap lending isn't really even a term. It's a fake term that was made up to. It's like that's not a thing. That's not a good thing. It's not a real lend product. Gap lending is just literally when somebody's saying, hey, can you pay everything that I don't want to pay? Which is using up all the remaining liquidity or equity in that deal. Usually. So you've taken out the equity security of the deal at that point. You've just put in 100% of the value in that property. So your chances of getting it back entirely rely on the performance of the borrower. But anyway, he invested in this gap fund and there was a hard money in first position. And they ended up running into some issues on the property that ended up putting the budget way over, things that could happen. I mean, it's not like, it could have been something that the borrower actually maybe could have caught. I don't know if they did an inspection report. If you did an inspection report, theoretically, you should have caught this. You know what I mean? So, but they didn't catch it on the front end, so it was missed in the budget. And on the back end, now they're way over on the rehab. That pretty much ate up his second position. And so he asked, is there anything that I could do to fix this problem? Is there anything I can do to, save this deal? And I said, well, honestly, your best bet is to be as good of friends as you can with him.
yeah, no crap, Sherlock. Seriously, that's what I did. I got into second lien position, and I forgot the stuff's recorded.
Yeah, just say generic stuff. Yeah, no name.
I got into second lien position. I got super close to the person, and I was able to get a bunch of corrupt crap going on in writing.
In writing?
It's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, you just tied an anchor around your leg and threw yourself into the river. Like, that was a bad choice. Like, I'm thankful that I'm not gonna lose my second lien position. I may lose everything else if I can't get something done here and he doesn't have any way to get himself, situated. But, I had to put a little bit more money in the deal in order to find out how corrupt everything was.
Wow.
But it's like, I'm just like, never again, no second lien position. I don't care who you are, what you're about, it ain't happening.
No, I wouldn't recommend it. And the only way I would ever suggest somebody ever like essentially cover the down payment or anything on a property would be truly in a partnership situation. I don't think it really works well and that doesn't mean that you're protected. just because you have a
Right.
partnership.
No, it doesn't.
You need to make sure that you vet the partnership really, really, really well and be
Yep.
comfortable with your money being tied in
Well, and people
that
can
property
change.
forever.
People
Right?
can change.
Yep.
People can change. People do change.
For sure.
I've had people change. People can have a heart attack and a stroke all in one.
Yeah. Yep. So I think it's really wise to make sure that if you're going to essentially cover quote unquote a gap or down payment or closing costs and all of that as a funding partner, you should be a partner, not a lien holder. Like I don't, at the very best, but you have to be that does not exactly protect you. Even still, you got to make sure that you're hopping into a partnership that's really, really good. And I think people hop into a lot of those partnerships a little too fast. I think it'd be better to hop into a partnership where you foresee buying multiple properties with somebody, multiple times. And you're going to build a portfolio with them together. And maybe you even hold a different role than just the financier. But anyway, I don't even get into that. I don't love those kinds of structures. I've gotten involved in some very large operators where we can bring, a chunk of change in, and we have equity ownership in those deals. But you got to know that like it can take a very long time for those to turn a profit sometimes. So you just got to be willing to hang in for a very long time. But yeah, my message to him was just basically like, keep on really good terms if you can, because if it goes sour, it's very, very hard to actually get your money back. Not to say that it won't go sour either way, but I do think as long as you can keep really good open lines of communication and keep working with them, and you don't have a lot of other leverage to work with unless you got a personal guarantee of some sort, but a lot of people don't do that either. You get a personal guarantee, then you could at least sue them and make them pay out of their income for the next however many years to pay that off.
But personal guarantees are not worth crap either, Justin. You know that. It's only worth what the person's actual word is worth. And if you got to be in that place, it's not worth anything.
Yeah, no, I would agree that it generally isn't worth a whole lot. Now, and part of that is it's a uphill battle fight, right? To go and execute on a personal guarantee. And I'm not an attorney, so I can't even offer, a full spectrum of unpacking of that. But
I've got attorneys and they're not even willing to look at it. They're like, we'll see the contract, period.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Your best bet is equity in the deal, like an equity position. So yeah, that's why we've got, pretty rigorous numbers now. It's the LTARV of 70% max. That does not mean we lend all of our loans at 70%. That's the maximum. LTC 90% max. That does not again mean that we always are at exactly 90%, but that's the max. And then some sort of a threshold for minimum down payment. And we've added the points because, we want to just start filtering out people that just are not serious minded. So prefer to invest with people that have some liquidity, that are willing to put that in there along with, you've given them a loan, they're going to put some money in. So you get somebody to put $30,000-$40,000 into the deal. They're going to want to be very creative to make sure they get that back out. If you cover 100% of a deal, now if you can get a good equity leverage position, even if you cover 100% of the deal, you're reducing your risks by a lot, which is what we've done. We've reduced our risks by a lot, but from a borrower psychology and incentive standpoint, giving them 100% also is lowering their sort of psychological threshold of like, I have skin in the game in this deal. I'm making this deal happen. Like, I will make this happen. Yeah. So, yeah. Any other questions? I know got a few folks.
Justin,
Yeah. Hi.
sorry, this is Jessica Toth. So,
Oh, hi,
listen, does it make sense for you guys? I know that you're expanding your options and trying to implement different things as far as lending. Will you guys ever be in the space at the end, like of the refinance? Would that make sense for you guys ever?
Yeah.
Or do you think,
Yeah.
okay,
We're
perfect.
actually working hard on that. We can actually help provide at least a, what do I want to call it, sort of a referral or an introduction to a team that we haven't done a deal yet with them, but they are closing lots of DSCR loans. Are you familiar with DSCR loans?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Love it. Yeah. So we are connected with a team that can do a DSCR loan. We've got a couple of folks that can do them, actually. So love to give a referral out. And our goal would be to eventually develop a partnership with them where we would even be able to essentially you just apply right through our website, and then their team would just fulfill as partners of us.
That sounds great. Please send it my way. Thank you so much.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we'll do.
So your referral source, are they primarily doing, so it's a DSCR on residential, or do they do commercial as well?
I'd have to double check with them and see. I think it's primarily residential, but I can double check. Maybe I can even get one of them to pop on here next week. I'll see if I can get maybe one of them to pop on, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm still working on the hotel deal I mentioned on last time I was on the phone.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think it makes really good sense, Jessica, that we have the ability to offer an option on the refinance side. Won't be coming directly, from our capital sources per se, but we'd be working on, developing a relationship with them. So we've got a good partnership and whatnot. But we want to start with referrals and watch as they close those deals, and then it may make a lot of sense to integrate all the way into just like having a portal on our website and everything. Anybody else? Monica, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I thought I would join. I've been wanting to join, and I'm always busy on Friday morning. And so yes, hopefully I can join more often.
For sure.
Things are good.
Yeah. What are you working on these days?
Still private money lending and transitioning to do more like transactional lending.
Nice.
And then multifamily. So that's still my two focuses.
Fantastic. So from a multifamily standpoint, is that buying multifamily then?
Yes, buying. Yes. Although there is opportunity to do earnest money lending on multifamily.
Yeah.
And and so that I'm going to start looking at as well.
Okay. Gotcha. Would it be essentially kind of like the earnest money for a wholesaler or end buyers?
Yeah. No, so I would say earnest money for a wholesaler, because you're bringing the money for the operator that's buying, or the team that's buying the multifamily.
Sure. Got it.
And just the same.
Cool.
There's a company, I forget the name of the company. They were on a call that I was on, and they were saying, if anybody signed up with their company, that they would do earnest money at 1.25. And I thought, I'll do that, and you don't have to sign up with any company.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Nice. Okay. Well, very interesting. So have you been doing a fair amount of earnest money for wholesalers?
I have not.
Okay. So this is kind of like a newer thing you're venturing into a little bit more.
Yes. Yeah. Just looking for other opportunities to put larger amounts of money and just have that turnover quicker. than doing the private money lending. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that on the private money lending, I go in at 90 days and then it ends up taking 6 months. But thankfully, thank God, that he's always watching over me and I still get paid out. It just takes longer.
Sure. Yeah. Are you in first position typically?
Always.
Always.
I don't win second. Yeah.
Yep. That's wise. Yeah. What are your parameters too for yourself? I'm just curious. You know, I shared what we're setting ours at. But just out of curiosity, how do you set your standard for making sure you've got enough equity, basically?
I should get better at this, but I look at what the most of them like the as is value, and I try to stay like that under 70% of the as is value.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And do you figure out your as is based on like the MAO?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for example, the one of them I did was really awesome. It was in Anderson, South Carolina.
Okay. Oh,
And
I got family there.
Yeah. So this property, it probably the as is, but they had a fire in the kitchen. The house really it was a brick. It just needed to get updated and have the kitchen redone. The homeowner wasn't able to do any of the renovation, and so my borrower, who's also in the community, was able to buy the property for $45,000.
Nice.
And then it was a $90,000 for rehab. And it was a property that if for any reason he would have defaulted, I wouldn't have mind taking it over. But it ended up appraising for $280,000.
Nice.
After the rehab. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, that sounds like you got yourself into a pretty good deal there. That's good. Cool.
But not all of them are like that. And I have some borrowers that I've just been working with a long time that they might add another bedroom or bathroom. But I know their business model that 70% goes away. Like but I've been working with them for over a year, so I know that they'll end up paying.
Gotcha. Nice. Cool. Awesome. Well, great to hear from you, Monica. And I'm glad things are going well from your standpoint for the lending. Yeah.
Thanks. Nice to see you.
Yeah. All right. Tinku, how are you? Good to see you again.
Hey, I'm good.
Good.
Really just trying to kind of get to know more people in the community and plan for future. I had like too many second position bad deals that went real bad. So yeah, kind of restructuring and planning and knowing, trying to know the right people. That's where I am.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about the second position deals. I hear that a lot. So, yep. Let me know if there's anything we can do to encourage you. Obviously, we do these every Friday, so happy to share whatever we're learning too. And it is tough, like finding good deals and being confident. One of the reasons we made the change that we did with our product was that, in theory, it works great, right? And from a very personal standpoint, like having very personal relationships with borrowers and getting to know them on a personal basis, we were able to find some borrowers that we could work with and we could rely on, right?
Right.
It's when it came to scaling it up, It didn't translate. It just did not translate. So you advertise that product, and like I mentioned earlier in the conversation today, it just seemed to draw some of the worst borrowers. But obviously we have some great borrowers. We got a deal right now with Jessica, who's on the call. She's amazing. We've enjoyed working with her, and she's very, she's like on it, doesn't mess around. And so that's exciting. We love to work with great borrowers like that. But what we were running into is just like people where there's like no rational sense of the ARV, not at all. Like it's not even in the ballpark. Scope of work wrong. It's one thing if you're trying to fix a house up to get rental level and it doesn't need to be perfect. It's another thing if you're trying to fix and flip and you're like, look at these beautiful houses over here. Well, mine's going to look like that. But then your scope of work tells me, like, literally, I mentioned this, I think a week or two ago, had a guy, his scope of work was to paint the drop ceiling in the living room. Like, no, like you are not going to sell that on market for the same price as this house down the road. Like, how did you think that was okay? Like sometimes it's just sort of like those obvious little things. It's like you look at the scope of work and you're just like, wait, what? How? Or like they got, they're not planning on replacing flooring, and you look at the house and it's like ancient carpeting, but they're still planning on flipping it. I'm like, no, that won't work. You have to have a plan to rehab the property to the level that the community in this neighborhood, that market is looking for. And if you're not doing that, then you kind of miss the boat on that deal. So, yeah. Anyway, so what we found was we needed to put a bit of a different threshold so that we could find borrowers who are just serious minded about like, let's do this thing.
Right.
With you.
It's surprising to me. There are, obviously good and bad, right? And some people just have mindset of I can't, like, I'm not really complaining, but I had two even first position deal, just I didn't get my money back because the borrower just decided he's not going to do the rehab and not going to give me my money back. And he wants to sue me for different things. So it's just very hard when you kind of look at, like, it's, to me, it's like you really have to have that relationship for a year or so to really know people good enough to hand your.
It's either that or you need a process where you do have the upper hand appropriately, where you can control the deal. Yeah. So if there might be some parts in your process that might be just missing so that you have full control over that.
Right.
Out of curiosity, when you say that he decided not to do the rehab, did you give him the full rehab budget up front?
I did. And that was, so, like I said, I had not won too many bad deals, and I feel like every time I'm learning something new. At the beginning, I thought I will always kind of go through a connector because I am not that great about like vet people.
Yeah.
But
well, neither are connectors. I hate to say it.
And that's the thing I kind of found out in the process. I'm like, okay, did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know that? So those didn't happen.
Yeah.
And and one point, like I remember at one property, I kind of said, okay, I'm not giving this money to her at once, and we just kind of put in a draw. But I haven't done that every time.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
sure.
Like, I'm responsible, my fault. I get that. But I'm just seeing so many people are just kind of, like all these success stories I have seen posted. Oh, we got our 38th co-living property, and then one day they just put their hand up and say, well, can't do this anymore. They're just foreclosing properties one after another.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of mindset is that?
Yeah.
It's very hard, very risky, and it's
I always
bad.
think of it this way, right? If a house is all broken down, like my water jug, and when I'm done fixing it up and I'm adding all the value to this thing, it'll be worth a gallon. But if it's chopped in half right now and it's missing a chunk of this gallon, it's not worth a full gallon yet. If it's chopped in half, it's worth half a gallon. And I don't want to fill the jar up to a full half gallon, otherwise it's going to spill all over the place and be a mess. So I have to be below a half a gallon. Like I never fill up a glass of water all the way to the brim. I fill it up below the brim, and I leave myself a little bit of leverage to make sure that it doesn't spill all over the place and make a hot freaking mess. If I'm funding towards their purchase price, I have to have a reserve. I have to have equity against what is it worth even today. And I really have to make sure that I don't overfund it by giving all of the rehab budget, because if I do, there's not enough security in the asset. So I fund down, like if it's halfway, I'm funding like way down here.
Right.
And that's all you're getting today. And then you as the borrower have to put money in and prove you did work with pictures, inspection report, whatever, before I give you that money and free up your liquidity. Then you need to put some more in. By the time we're done, we now have a full gallon and my total loan is like down here.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helped. That's a visual.
It does, yeah.
A visual way for me to like see in my own mind like exactly how this works. Like there's a certain level of value that the property has today, and I can't be at 100% of that.
Right.
And if we give construction budget 100% of it, I mean, it's kind of the same principle to like a contractor. If you have a contractor come to your house and they're like, oh, I can fix up this bathroom for you, yeah, it'll be $10,000. And if you could please just give that all to me up front, I'll make sure that I buy all the materials and we'll get it done in a month. Does that sound plausible? No. Like I'm never going to give 100. I'm never going to give 100% of my bathroom renovation budget, even to my contractor. I'm going to be like, yeah, blow smoke, buddy. Like, yeah, you go ahead and order some supplies. Maybe I'll give you a small draw, go get the supplies, and then show up here with those supplies. And then we'll work through this in stages. I would never expect them to take 100% of it on the back end if it's a huge deal, right? But I would never expect them to get 100% on the front end either.
Right.
So you got to think about that way with your borrowers too. Like if you want 100% of the rehab budget up front, you can blow smoke as far as I'm concerned, borrower.
Yeah.
So. All right, cool. Well, it is 11:59, and thank you guys so much for popping on. And I hope this was helpful and valuable. And we'll be here every week. We want to offer insights where we can and be an encouragement to people out there trying to figure out this wild space of real estate investing. It's not like it's just easy peasy even for us either. So we're out here cranking it out, working hard, and learning as we go.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye.